Consult Asia delivers cutting-edge training to empower people to achieve their maximum potential. Engaged in developing and delivering customized learning and development programs specializing in leadership, business, sales, and life coaching. True to its name, Consult Asia works with partners worldwide in Asia, North America, Europe, the United Kingdom, and Australia, all from diverse industries: hospitality, tourism, banking, real estate, retail, direct sales, legal, manufacturing, and oil and gas. Consult Asia closely works with partners in their people development and business enhancement programs to achieve their business goals. And the Consult Asia Global team is just as world-class. Consultants and facilitators, coaches and mentors are industry experts from distinct backgrounds and cultures. Consult Asia delivers only high-quality training solutions and proactively pursues strategic alliances with global firms and consultants to stay ahead in the industry. Consult Asia Global, the world's preferred training group.
Okay, hi everyone. Good evening. Okay, I'm trying to get my face to come out properly. There you go. Hi Maria, how are you?
I'm great, Tinette. How are you?
I'm really good. Okay, so let me just try to organize this one. So hello everyone, my name is Tinette Cortes and welcome to my Facebook Live entitled Learning and Loving Cultures. So again, this is a weekly episode where we invite a lot of our friends and associates to share their stories with us to inspire us and to not just to inspire us, but also to inform us on how we can be better and how we can understand others as well. So Maria, tonight we're very excited. How's Canada?
Yeah.
By the way, guys, Maria here. Let me introduce my beautiful co-host. Sorry, I got really excited with the show tonight. So my co-host tonight is actually my managing partner for Consult Asia Global in North America, Maria Drueca. Hello, Maria.
Hello,
again.
everyone. So it's good morning here in Canada, good evening in the Philippines, and we have some audience in other parts of the world, so it may be a good afternoon for you guys.
Right. It's very early there right now. I think it's 6 o'clock.
6
Is that
a.m.,
correct?
yeah.
6 o'clock. So good morning, Canada. Good evening, Philippines, and good afternoon, Italy. So Maria, our guest tonight is very, very young.
Yes.
At least compared to us, he's very young, and he's very global as well. And you've already seen how global this gentleman is, because, ladies and gentlemen, he's actually Italian and he's based in Italy, but he as I've mentioned in my post, he's started a life in China because he got educated there. He studied Bachelor of Arts major in Chinese language. Maria, can you imagine?
Yeah.
I can't even pronounce it. I can't even. Do you speak Chinese or do you understand Chinese?
No.
Neither do I. I only know a few words, but I can't even pronounce them properly.
Exactly.
And also, Maria, our guest tonight, has worked for a manufacturing company based in Italy. He worked for the IT department, and of course, because of his job, because the company is actually global and has well, it's headquartered in Italy, but it is, it has offices in China and all over the world as well. So without further ado, let me introduce our guest for tonight, or this morning in Canada, Mr. Davide Urbani. Hello, Davide.
Hello, everyone. Lovely greetings
Hi,
from
David.
Italy.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm really happy to be your guest tonight. It's a really honor for me.
Good.
It's a
And,
pleasure.
yeah,
It's a pleasure for us to have you, David.
Yes.
I'm glad that you have so much consideration for my bachelor. I think we can trade. We can trade. I can exchange with you some Chinese competencies and get your competencies in management as an exchange. What do you think of this
Wow.
deal?
Well, I'm always open to helping each other, so why not, right? I thought you were going to say you wanted to learn Filipino as well. I mean, we can teach you easily. That's not a problem at all. Okay.
If I have the occasion to come there, to be located there for a long enough time, why not? I mean, for me, when I go abroad and I have to spend enough time there, for me it's worth to learn the language, because it's the first step for getting in touch with the local people.
Right.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
and in fact, Maria and I have made a decision that tonight we want to make sure that before we end the show, we already have the Italian accent when we speak English, right, Maria? And I would like to understand how you speak, and I don't see your hands moving. Italians are always moving their hands, right? Is that correct?
I'm trying my best to not do so.
I was just about to ask you, are your hands tied right now? Because they're not moving. I mean, all my Italian friends are always like
this. Like this under the table.
I guess
Feel free to express yourself, David. So it's all good.
Exactly. Because I think, Maria, before we even talk about David's, David, right? Because we're not gonna call him Davide because it's so.
Exactly. When unless I'm speaking with an Italian native speaker, I say just call me David. It's more simple for everyone.
Okay. I guess before we speak about, or we talk about China, your life in China, back then when you were working and when you were in school, well, you're still in school right now. Maria and I actually want to learn a little bit about the Italian culture. Could you tell us a little bit about you, your background as an Italian guy, What do we need to know? What don't we know about Italians and about David, of course?
About Italians, you can expect that they are really, really expressive, really emotional. And something that, for example, people from Asia may not like is that we really like human touch. So even between friends, we used to touch a lot, just on the shoulder, hugs, kisses.
Yeah.
Sometimes we may sound really, really loud, but it's because we really like to express ourselves, express our energy, our joy. And what else? What maybe people sometimes may not like about Italian is that for the most part we don't pay quite attention to details. So, for example, if you are a really detailed person, you may find us that we don't have that much discipline. Of course, this is we can call the stereotype. Then, as you will agree, every person is unique. So it's all about to get to know the person better.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing to know, that, right, Maria? I mean, he said that Italians are by nature very expressive. So if, let's say, for instance, you guys are so touchy with each other, right?
Exactly.
But I think some nationalities, some cultures are quite reserved and they don't like us intruding, the personal space. So I think this is one thing that is good about this conversation tonight is we will try to dissect and try to understand the different cultures based on your experience when you moved to Asia. All right. So, but before we do that, David, before we do that, Maria, of course, we'd like to say hello to all our viewers. Hello, everyone. I'd like to flash some of the greetings here. So we have a a friend, Behati Armstrong, says, good evening. Hello, Behati. Nice to meet you. I think she's your friend, David, correct? And of course, I'd like to say hello to my dear friend from Atlanta, Georgia, Jim Hewling. Hi, Jim. Nice to see you. And of course, our dear friend from Brighton in the UK. She's all our friend, right? I mean, we all know her.
Yeah, but she as well has
Yeah.
her husband is the reason of why we are here tonight.
Exactly. By the
So-
way, just for everyone's information, we are all part of the ICQ Global Community, which is based in Brighton in the United Kingdom. And that's why David, Maria, and I are so happy to be here tonight. And thanks, Cassia, for watching us.
Hi, Kasia.
And of course, Emily says, hello. All right. So with that, David, I think Maria has a very interesting set of questions for you. But again, before we do that, tell us a little bit about your decision to move out of Italy. I mean, Italy is a beautiful place, right? And then all of a sudden, as a young gentleman, you decided, okay, I'm going to move to the other side of the world, and you decided to go to China. Tell us a little bit about this. At what point in your life did you actually decide that you wanted to leave?
Great. Well, when we talk about Italy, people usually think about art, about fashion, about good food, and there's nothing wrong with this. It's everything true. I mean, we have a really good historic place. We have really good fashion brands, and the food is amazing.
Yeah.
But that's not the only part of Italy. Many of these things you can find it in big places, in big centers. I was born and raised in a really, really small village in northeast of Italy. It's basically 1 hour driving on the highway from Venice. So in case you want to...
So that's the north part, right? North part of Italy?
Exactly, northeast.
Oh my.
But the place where I'm raised and where I'm born and when I raised is a really, really small village, and also the nearest town, which is really, really close. The population, I don't know if they will surpass 10,000 people, something like this. So, but the interesting thing is that in this province, in the beginning of the second part of the 90s, in this province there was a huge development of industries, and one industries which emerged from this, other than tourism, was the glass industry. We have a three or four major eyeglass manufacturing, and so many of the activities rotates around the eyeglass. Also, the company where I've worked for, they produce cases for eyeglass or articles related to eyeglass. So, thanks to this company, where I found my first occupation straight after high school, I had the occasion to get in touch with China. I was arranged to visit their main production plant in Shenzhen, which is basically, it's like a second headquarters, because there is everything there. There is not only the production, but also many offices.
Yeah.
And so, to be frank, I did not have choice. I was the last one. I was the last one joining.
Yeah.
No other colleagues wanted to get there. So they say, David, now it's your turn. So I say, okay. I could not say anything else.
Yeah.
But when I landed in Shenzhen, and I thought the mega Chinese city, I said, wow, is this really China? It's completely opposite to what I imagined. And another good thing which happened to me is that in the period I was in China, I was in an office where I was the only foreigner, so I had no choice but to dip myself inside the Chinese culture.
Yeah.
And this made me think. This made me realize that, well, it's good to explore new things. I also found out that that experience was pushing my limits, were making me understand that I'm capable of way more things than I used to do in Italy, in this small town. So there is where my curiosity started.
Okay. So
Then
it was
took
because
quite
of your, yeah, it was because of your job. I mean, it was really, I guess, at the perfect time, at the perfect place, right?
Exactly.
Where you made that decision that, okay, there must be something more than just Pradas and Gucci's and Ferragamos and, I mean, my God, Maria, I'm already sweating thinking
Those
about
are
all.
those are the languages that Tinette and I know.
Just to share with you, David, when Maria and I were in Florida, in Orlando, we were in Orlando
Early
last
this year.
February until March
Yeah.
this year. I
Great.
mean, Maria and I went, of course, to do just a little bit, right, Maria? Some shopping. And we learned so many Italian and French words because of those stores. So yeah, it is just okay. Anyway, I'm derailing from the topic here, but okay. So I guess Maria, what David is saying is he clearly his horizon immediately expanded as soon as he got to this Asian country, China, right?
It was like another Big Bang for me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I could imagine. Yeah. Okay. What about, I mean, maybe Maria has some insights on this because Maria also migrated to Canada. She's Filipina. She's from here, from the Philippines, but she moved to Canada. I think, when was that, Maria? How many years back then? I think
13 years ago. So
13
we
years
moved,
ago.
we moved here 2007. So I totally can relate with what David had experienced because, even though you have done a lot of research, about that country, once you're there, it's totally different. So that's part of the learning that, I have done or I have, maybe achieved when I migrated here because it's the culture, the people, you learn a lot. So the landscape as well, right? So it's very different when you're just reading it from a book or an
Yeah.
internet. But yeah,
Okay. All right. So, yeah, no, absolutely. And Maria also studied overseas, just like yourself, David. So, I guess what I'm curious about also is what's your experience like studying in a different country? I mean, I could imagine in your class, it's a multicultural class, right? I mean, you've got people from all over the world there in that school. What was the
Exactly.
experience like? I mean, it must be
Exactly.
really exciting for
Mhm.
you. Tell us a little bit more about that.
As we can, as Cecilia, one of our colleague from
Yeah.
Legal Design, said, being in that campus is like being in the United Nations. There are people from all over the world, and that's absolutely great. Then, if we consider that, especially that the course, that bachelor in Chinese language, is targeting international students because it's not something that Chinese students will do.
All right.
Then you can immediately understand how multicultural it is. And especially there were many people from other Asian countries. So there was a huge majority of people from South Korea, and of course people from Thailand, from Indonesia, from Laos.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was funny because I really wanted to be there. I felt really comfortable. I felt energized. I felt like that were my home, even if we just look at my face, I don't quite belong to that place. I remember when one of my professor, of course all professors were Chinese, but say that in that class there were only 2 people which are not Asian, and one is me and one is another classmate from Finland. I was quite shocked because when I start thinking about this, I will understand. Yes, actually, I'm European, but I was feeling so great, so part of it, that hearing people telling me the truth that I am not Asian was like shocking. I will not say offending, but shocking, because for me it was great to be there.
Yeah. So I guess, I must say that just like Maria, getting educated overseas has immensely affected you both personally and professionally. And I could imagine the benefits that you've gained out of studying overseas. What do you think is the importance, David? Because, of course, I'm sure a lot of our fellow Filipinos here in the Philippines are also interested to explore studying overseas, especially, some of the most preferred countries these days where Filipinos usually go to study would be either the United States, the UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. These are usually the most common. So, in your experience, how has it affected you personally and professionally?
Well, the biggest benefit is that by getting in contact with many other cultures, you have the occasion of taking the best from any of each culture. Basically, different people from different culture learn to solve problem in a different way. So maybe you always try to solve a specific problem in your way and it did not work, but then you come in contact with people from completely different country, and maybe you find out, you realize that their way of doing things or solving problems fits you better. It's a better fit of who you are as a person. It is also great because sometimes even if we love, we respect our country, but we feel like what there is, how people behave or how people do things here does not quite reflect my values. And being abroad, getting in contact with people from all around the world, you have the occasion to have a better understanding on what may work for you.
Right.
For you, for
I
yourself.
have a question for David. So David, so as a student, usually you do have group projects, right? So how does that actually affect you, or how does that influence your thinking and how you relate with your group members or classmates? Because you are multicultural there. So what is your experience in the group type of project when it comes to that particular setting, and what did you learn, and what do you think should be one of the skills that one needs to have as a student in a multicultural setting?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Undoubtedly, if you are in a cultural environment, multicultural environment like that, you really need cultural intelligence. One of my biggest struggle in working in group with people from completely different culture was that our approach was completely different. I had the struggle I had was more with my South Korean and some of Thai classmates, because, for example, by my side, I was really happy to be there, to study there. So I wanted to take the best of any small project. For me, even if on a scale from 1 to 100, if I was taking 98, but there was a classmate taking 100, I was not satisfied enough. While, for example, my Korean and my Thai classmates, they were more relaxed. Also, some of them did not even choose to be there; they were sent them by their parents, so they prefer to take a slower pace and maybe more cooperating, sacrifice the result for having some more harmony. And this is what made me struggle with them, and I'm sure that also made them struggle with me.
So I think that's part of the culture shock as well, David. Hey?
Sorry,
I think that's part of the culture shock experience as well.
Sure. it was real for me, because many of the expats who come to China, they have the culture shock with the Chinese. While with the Chinese, I was perfectly fine. It sounds weird for me that I go to China and I have the culture shock with the Koreans. I would say, how is it possible?
Yeah. So Maria, I mean, I'm sure you can relate as well. Having been educated in Canada yourself, I'm sure it has really expanded your horizons, your mindset, the way you think. Right?
That's right. And because, Canada and the Philippines have a very different system when it comes to education. It's also, partly culture shock, and you really need to make sure that you are quite adaptable, and you need to make sure that you can adjust to the situation, because otherwise you will struggle as a student. So I agree with David that having that skill set, or intercultural intelligence, as we call it, is very important for you to succeed as a student or as an immigrant. And, I think in all aspects of life, that's very important. And for everyone's information too, because we're discussing the topic of intercultural intelligence, because we are all part of this, as Tinette mentioned earlier. We are all part of the
Community.
intercultural ICQ community. So we train people on how to develop that skill, or intercultural intelligence mindset.
And it's, yes, absolutely right, Maria, because these days, the world is getting smaller and smaller, and all the more that we need to be equipped with intercultural intelligence, because we are going to be working with different cultures, not only in terms of nationality, but in terms of personalities, backgrounds, so it's very important. And if you guys are more interested to know about intercultural intelligence, just feel free to message us. If you're my friend, you can easily message me. If you're David's friend, you can easily message him. Or if you're Maria's friend, then you can easily message Maria. Okay, before we move on to our next question, of course, we'd like to say hello to some of our friends who are watching us. Lalaine says, hello, how are you, Miss Tinette? Hi, Lalaine. Thanks for watching. And of course, our dear Castilla says, hey. All right. And then, of course, we'd like to say hello to Darla, who's watching, and to Rosalinda, who is also watching from Tarlac. And of course, our Director for Strategy and Innovation here at Consult Asia Global, Donna, says, hello, Maria, Tinette, and David. There you go. Okay,
My sister's also watching, so she's up early. Hello, child.
Hello. Okay, so with that, I think it's very important to talk a little bit about, what perhaps with David's experience. As he mentioned, he was exposed to different kinds of nationalities and different kinds of personalities. Maria, would you like to carry on with, because I'm sure you have developed friendships, David, right? I mean, both professional and personal friends. And
Exactly.
of course, we would like to hear from you how you were able to make that happen. I mean, coming from Europe, and then now you're in Asia. So maybe Maria has got some, she's got some experience with that, because she's also an immigrant. So
For sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I think having a group of people that you can trust in that new environment is very important, David. So, in your experience, have you developed a close knit of people, that you can call friends and family there in China while you were in China?
Exactly. Well, if I like China the way I do, this for 90%, no, okay, maybe not 90, but at least 70% is because of my first colleague. The colleague that I met in Shenzhen when I get the first time there, they really have been the ones who really made me felt welcome. I start from them, because I was the only foreigner in an office of only Chinese, and I needed their help because I needed to communicate with the local people. Really, I'm really thankful we are still in contact with them. Many of them now are married. They have kids. I saw their kids coming to life, growing, having brothers and sisters. That was really amazing. What is I will never never understand those who are in a foreign country and they have the time. They actually have the time for foster some relationship, but they don't do it because they are afraid. I mean, if you really can build a relationship with people there, especially in China, really your life will change, and for the better.
So have you developed like really close friendships from people there in China, or even with your people in your school?
Well, from my former colleague, we just kept in touch. When I was there in our day off, we used to go out to have fun together. Then then I decided to quit my job, to move to Shanghai and go to university. Living in campus is extremely easy to make friends.
Mhm.
You just go out, you just go to an event, and you can come back with 3 more friends. It's and it is really great. So one good way for making friends when you are in university, when you are in campus, is to join some of the clubs. There are a lot of student clubs, and I decided to join a club which was only Chinese club, but they accept it well, and the club of skateboarding. Then, really, you just need to go out, to be open, to be curious, and you can make friends. I can say I met my current girlfriend in my dorm, exactly at the washing machine, for being more precise.
Oh, so you were doing the laundry together, and then that's how you met her.
Yeah, exactly. We came there. She was surprised because I had only 3 pieces in my hand, because I only had to wash that 3 pieces, and so she told me, you only wash 3 pieces, and from there it started a conversation that later developed in what we are now.
So what nationality is your girlfriend there? Is she Chinese or from other country?
Her citizenship is Indonesian, but her
Oh, okay.
heritage is Chinese. Her family is from Chinese origin, but they are Indonesian. They live and they are also native Indonesian speaker.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Wow.
interesting. That's really interesting, Maria and David, because when you're in a relationship such as yours, I mean, intercultural intelligence is also very important, because you will be dealing with cultures, with behaviors or attitudes that were not probably familiar to you before
It's
you
not
met your.
important. It's like water. It's like water for life.
Exactly, right.
And I think my question to you, David, is how do you think culture affects a relationship? What would be the advantage of having close good relationship with someone who is different from your culture? What would be the disadvantage too? So the effect of culture in every relationship.
Well, the advantage is that, of course, you can find what you like, but you cannot find in your own culture. So you can, if you are looking for something that people around you do not quite have, you can find it in another culture. You can also enrich yourself. You can find out that, oh, this is great. I like it. The disadvantage may be more to what the other person is used, because I believe that even in intercultural relationship, what just me and my loved one, the most important part is our personality. Then the culture, the heritage may sure influence us on what we are used and what we may be or not be comfortable, for example, in doing when we are in public, when there is not only me and her. And the biggest impact may be also depending also on the culture, on how the families may see the situation.
Mm-hmm.
This especially if you are in a relationship with a Asian partner. I think you can confirm this.
Yeah.
But you know what? Even within your own family, we each has our own different personalities too. So I mean, when it comes to the importance of having that intercultural intelligence is really understanding why that other person thinks that way. Like, I can have a sibling who I can get along with a friend, but I cannot get along with my sibling. So I think that's all part of it, and knowing how to knowing yourself and knowing why that other person is actually think and feel that way is very important. Even
Exactly.
even if you're not in an intercultural relationship, it's just within the family relationship is very important. But I can tell how much more important it is if you are dealing with, or if you're having a relationship with someone who has a very different culture, someone who lives in another country, you know, different values as well. So those are very important
Right.
things that one needs to consider, right, Tinette?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, David mentioned something about you're not just trying to get along with the person himself or herself, but also with the family. So you'll have to take into consideration the generations involved as well. Because if you're dealing with the grandparents, for example, in our culture, Maria, if you have to deal with the grandparents, they have a different set of, beliefs when it comes to intercultural relationships, for example. Or if you're dealing with the millennials, it's also very different. So absolutely, I mean, this is where this intercultural intelligence comes in, and it's very, very important. And I'm glad, David, that you've taken this license. You've been licensed as a global disc practitioner,
Exactly.
because this is not just for your professional relationships, but also something that you can benefit from when it comes to your personal relationships as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I decided to take first the training as a standard user, and then become a licensed practitioner.
Yeah.
It was more for applying it in my future profession when I will be graduate, when I will be again full time working. But really, the benefit that global disc, that knowing intercultural relationship has bring in my relationship with my Indonesian girlfriend is huge, because really, thanks to this, I can exactly understand why I feel in some way, why she feels in some way. If, for example, sometimes she is not happy with for example, my behavior, with my attitude, I can actually find out. I do not have to guess. I just need to listen to her and apply it what she's telling me to the knowledge I have, and that will make me able to understand what is going great and what is not going so good, what I should fix. Because in the end, in a relationship, it's about, and both of the two need to work on it. I mean, something which is not flexible, sooner or later will break. So it's good that anyone is willing to take a step toward the other person to mutually understand each other.
Absolutely. Actually, no, what you said is so important. And I actually have a question for both of you, because we're talking about both professional and personal relationships here. How do you deal with temper? I mean, whether it's you who has the bad temper or the other person has a bad temper. Because I personally believe that it's not a matter of understanding what they're thinking, but it's more of the feeling. Now, I don't know about you, David, but of course, there are certain cultures in the world where being temperamental is a natural thing. Like people speak louder, they are more expressive and more passionate about their feelings, whereas some are more reserved, as you've mentioned earlier. They're very different. How do you guys handle that? I mean, do you guys have temper at all? I mean, I'm just curious, Maria and David.
I mean, this is something that I had to really work on. And fortunately, I already started to work on when I was struggling with my Korean classmates. So that struggle helped me to train myself to be less impulsive, to be less explosive, to just take a deep breath, just take one step back, deep breath, just let go, reason, just don't quite react, and don't be overly expressive, because maybe for myself it's normal, but I may scare the other people, I may scare my partner, and I really don't want this.
That's and this is exactly valid what you're saying. It's good because it starts from being aware of yourself as well. I mean, if you're not aware that you have the tendency to be temperamental, then it's obviously very difficult to adjust. What about you, Maria?
Well,
I think you have a bad temper.
more. Yeah, well, I do, I do, and my husband and my kids can attest to that. But it's about knowing yourself. You're right, Tinette. Of course, going to into a going to work, you don't really show your temper, right? Knowing yourself, knowing how to behave is very important. I think temper is a behavior, though. I don't see it as personally. I think it's not related to any culture, because I've met a number of people from people who is in Israel, but they are Muslims and Arabs, and you would think that Muslims and Arabs, they also speak louder, and there are some people that I've met who are kind of gentle when it comes to when they talk. So I see temper as a more of a behavior of a person, not so much related to a culture of a country. Again, it's more of understanding yourself and knowing how to behave in a certain situation. Most of the time, unfortunately, our families are the brunt of they receive the brunt of our temper, right? Which is not good too.
That's true.
And again, that's part of having that maturity. And I think, again, intercultural intelligence is not just for a work setting or professional setting. It's very applicable to all of the aspects in our lives. So even our relationship with our family is very important.
That's very true. That is so true.
Exactly. I mean, especially because when it comes also to educating kids, I really, looking back, I found out that biggest part of this of maybe the temper, maybe impulsive temper that I got it from my father, who is a police officer. So he also is used that in some occasion he need to be like this. It is his job, and for him it is normal, and it was normal also for me. It's important to realize that when you are in a multicultural environment, what seems to work at home, it's not sure that it will work in that environment. So you need to be careful, to try to look around yourself and try to figure out what works better and what not.
Yeah, that's so true, and it's true, and I think that says a lot. I think that's a very important message for me and Maria, because we're both parents as well, and a lot of our traits, I think, are being taken in by our children. So ouch. So we have to be more careful about how we express ourselves and behave, and that's definitely important.
Well, you are two entrepreneurs. I think that you have a lot of good things that you can transfer to them. I think they can be proud of both of you too.
I hope so.
I hope they get the good ones.
I hope they get the good ones, and I hope they remember the good ones too. That's the most important thing. Okay, so I understand, David, that you and your girlfriend are not in one country currently. How are you guys coping?
Yeah.
Well, with a lot of patience, lot of trust, and a lot of love, of course. Yeah. Fortunately, nowadays we have these technologies, so we can see each other from any part of the world. So from myself and I think also other people who are in the same situation, we try to schedule some times where we just have our video call and we only concentrate on each other. We try to replace everything we can, every situation that we can try to recreate the feeling. For example, being side by side, just being sweet, being warm with each other. We are also trying to arrange something like watching a movie together. We are still trying to figure out what is the best way to do. But really, the important is that to keep in touch, to keep the other person feeling that we are not close physically, but really our hearts are really close, are really side by side, and we will be also physically side by side at the first occasion. I think that this situation, this crisis, is really showing up what relationship are the strong one, really, which relationship are filled with true love, and which one maybe it's better to put on over because it's not working.
Wow, yeah. So this pandemic is really testing relationships when it comes to having a long distance relationship, and that's very good to hear that carving out a time. It means that you are making this person a priority for you, regardless of the time difference. Because I believe, is it 12-hour time difference that you have with her, or just 8 to 10 hours?
It's around 6 hour.
6 hours. Okay, not that bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we have the possibility, for example, I can give her a good day and she gives me the good night. Then for example, she usually have a short call in my morning, which is her afternoon, and then we take some time before she goes to sleep. For example, 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, and I take a break for my study and for my work.
Okay, no, that's valuable input for sure, David. I actually have a similar question to Maria, because David and his girlfriend are apart right now physically, and Maria is with her husband physically. Maria, how is it affecting you guys? I mean, during the pandemic, is it how do you guys cope with each other's idiosyncrasies, or I'm sure it's not easy as well, to be especially with the situation. I have been hearing a lot of stories of my friends who are married as well. What would be your advice, let's say, for people who are so close to each other under one roof during these trying times? You didn't see that coming.
Well,
did you?
No, but it's okay. This pandemic has hit everyone in terms of the mental, the mental fitness of a person. So I think the most important thing is the support that you give to each other. If during the normal days before the pandemic, your husband or your wife comes home feeling not her good self or not her best behavior, maybe because they're stressed at work, and so how much more now. So it's more of trying to understand and being present for that person, because we need each other more now because of this situation. So you might be with a person close to you, you're with this person every day, but the tension could also be more heightened, right? Because of the different stressors in life. And it's I think for me and my husband, what I can say is we also have undergone a type of a retreat. So it's important for us to carve a time, a weekend, for us to really spend a time just to be with each other, and it helped us a lot.
That's great.
Especially during this pandemic. So yeah, communication is better. I think communication is key. So that's one of the things that is quite very, very critical when it comes to having a relationship, regardless whether that person is with you or it's a long distance relationship. So communication is very critical, and you need to make sure that you both are on the same page and understanding each other.
Wow, thank you. Thanks for that, Maria.
Yeah,
Okay,
I would like to add something to what Maria said, because
sure, of course.
yeah, I mean, communication really important. I mean, maybe sometimes because we don't have time, or we are stressed, or we think we already have enough problems, so we don't want to put other fuel on the fire. We try to accept each other, but it is really important sometimes just to take the time to just slowly, gently, just telling each other, let's speak, but slowly, gently, and speak out what we feel inside, what maybe we are not really comfortable about. And this is especially for people who are in my situation. I found myself maybe 2 times that my girlfriend told me, I would like we take some time for ourselves when there are some things that we need to clarify because we did not have time before. So also because sometimes she's introverted, or she is uncomfortable in talking things which may lead to confrontation. So it's important to give the other person the room, the space, the time to open up, to tell his or her feeling, trying to be understanding, and then you can explain yourself. My experience, when this is done correctly, when then you are able to really to clear up with each other, then it really makes the relationship even stronger.
That's right. Yeah.
Agree.
But to add to that information you mentioned earlier about the relationship of spouses in Canada, it is so unfortunate that there has been an increase in domestic violence when the pandemic happened. So the issue is really real, and I guess both of the spouses need support from each other too. So you
That's
have to
very
keep that
tough,
in
though,
mind.
Maria. That's really tough, isn't it? Because if you're both suffering from anxiety and depression and stress and burnout, and you're under one roof, who seeks help from who? If you have nothing to give, if you have nothing to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's
Yeah.
really it's a real problem these days, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So
yeah. So I guess, that's going to be another topic in the future.
yeah,
But yeah.
there'll be another interesting topic, Tinette.
Definitely, definitely. But before we continue, guys, before we wrap up, actually, I'd like to say hello to our dear Dr. Patty. Hi, Dr. Patty. Thanks for watching us. And I'd like to say hi to my dear friend Mary Muse. She sent us 100 stars for this show. Thank you so much,
Great,
Mary.
thank you.
And of course, I'd like to say hello to Yvonne as well. Thanks, guys, for watching.
My cousin from Dubai, Diane, she's also watching. Hi,
All
Diane.
right. There you go. All right. Thanks so much for watching our conversation or joining us in this conversation tonight. I guess just to wrap things up, David, what I'd like to ask you now is, because again, your story is quite inspiring because you got out of your comfort zone, you took on the plunge. I mean, you said yes to the opportunities in front of you. You became curious, and you tried to beat your fears or anything that hindered you from growing. I guess my question to you now is, or my request for you would be, would you care to share some pieces of advice to those, probably watching us or who will be watching this video, who would like to study overseas and start exploring, getting educated abroad, for example? What would be your piece of advice? Because a lot of people these days do not want to get out of their comfort zone. They have a lot of self-limiting beliefs that hinder them from growing. What's your advice?
My advice is that the comfort zone is dangerous, and there is one thing that no one should never copy from me. Before taking from my side, before taking that decision to get out from my comfort zone, to follow my dreams, I really had to get to the point that the anxiety of not getting what I want was really causing me health problems. I was really really feeling bad. It was really a bad situation. So how I figure it out? First, one of the advantages is that I had the opportunity to travel to the places where I was considering to move, so I could have some first-hand experience. Now it may be not possible, so try to get information from maybe people who are there. Try to get both the positive and the negative. So instead of, it's okay to talk with people who are happy to be there, but talk also to the people who are not. So you can then figure out what is good and what is not. And then this is a piece of advice that I got from a person who risked everything he had for starting a new path. When you wait from one choice or the other, this person gave me a really precious advice. He told me, never expect that you can get 100 and 0 or 90 and 10. If you can make a balance and you can get a result of 70 and 30, you can consider yourself so lucky. So really, at the end, it's just made this wait. Think about what may happen if you do not take that decision. How much will it be painful? I know, I was so afraid, really. I was afraid. I was suffering anxiety. I was really suffering anxiety. I had to get medicine for calming the anxiety in that moment. And if I look back and I see how this experience in China helped me also for developing my self-confidence, for finding out what problems were related more to the environment of the small village, and what problems were caused by me, where I had to take 100% responsibility. It's really, it is worth. I think that when you board on an experience like this, it's when you really start to grow, start becoming an adult, starting taking the control of your life. So really, you can always go back to your home. I don't think that your parents will kick out of your home. But take the risk to explore, to try to live your dreams. It's really so important. You may find out that you are capable of much more than you think.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. Thank you so much for that, David. Okay, what about you, Maria? Do you have any message to our viewers who might be wanting to study overseas or to explore a life outside where they are currently?
Yeah, I think one of the things that you can do to really expand your knowledge is really to go abroad and study there, and it only not gives you that growth personally, but also professionally, because it gives you more. It makes you more competitive. It makes you more, what you call that, gives you the edge in terms of your professional life too. So, I mean, here in Canada, the government actually has a form of an immigration type of status for students. So it's a great opportunity to really come here and explore and study. Actually, it's better than maybe looking for work, coming here without any work. But I think we have options to go here and apply for a program and become a student. Plus, I think there are advantages if you are married, because your spouse can also work while you're studying. So it's a great opportunity. And I agree with David. You have to get out of your comfort zone. I was in the Philippines. My husband and I had a very good job, but we had to think of the future. We had to get out of our comfort zone and start all over here in Canada. And I can say that I didn't have any regret in that decision. It's more of the preparation is very important too. So one of the things that I regret though is I should have known about intercultural intelligence. I should have prepared for that one too, because it would have lessened my culture shock once I have arrived here, because that is very helpful for someone who is new and living in another country, working in another country. So that's one tip as well that I can give to people who are exploring another path in another country.
Well,
Right.
one of
Well
my, I think, talking
Thank
about
you.
intercultural intelligence, my biggest mistake was to assume that because I was able to succeed with my Chinese colleague, I was immune to cultural clashes in
Mhm.
Asia, and that was not true.
That's not the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if
Okay.
you've been successful in other occasions, still don't assume that it will
Yeah.
be the same. Be ready to learn again
Yeah.
every
Agree. Agree. Okay, well, thank you so much for that, David and Maria. And David, we're about to end our conversation tonight. And of course, I'd like for you to have the opportunity to meet people all over the world. So if there's any way for them to reach you, can you just please share with us perhaps your email address or your LinkedIn account? How can they reach you if they want to get in touch with you?
I think that the best way for getting in touch with me is on my LinkedIn. So maybe we can share the contact. But basically, you will find myself as Davide Urbani, and you just add a global disc practitioner. I am the first one who will come out. So for now I'm stuck in Italy, but I want to make my way back to Asia. So this is something that I'm not going to renounce, no matter what. So if someone would like to get in touch with me to discuss about my experience, or maybe they just want some how to say, someone who is really enthusiast about exploring Asia, about building bridges between between Asia in the West, just contact me. Who knows?
Okay.
Maybe we can make something happen.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing, David. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, as David said, you can reach him through LinkedIn, and you can just type in Davide Urbani, and he's a global disc practitioner. And if you're curious what global disc is, this is the tool that we as intercultural coaches are using to help people understand each other more. Okay, and of course, we're happy to discuss that even further later on. But please do not hesitate to reach out to David so that you guys can have more conversations in the future. So with that, David, thank you very much for your time. How do I say thank you? Grazie, is that correct? Grazie?
Grazie.
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 Oh, jeez, I can't perfectly accent. Okay, grazie.
Grazie mille.
Okay, whatever. Grazie. And Maria, grazie Faragamo. Grazie. Okay, well, thank you very much. I do appreciate your time and for sharing with us your story, for sharing with us your insights, as well as the lessons that you learned along the way. And of course, to my dear Maria, thank you so much for joining me. I know it's very early there in Canada right now.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes. So thank you also. And again, to all our family and friends who are watching, thank you so much. We'd like to invite you to please visit our website, www.consultasiaglobal.com. And again, my name is Tinette Cortes. Follow me on Facebook at Tinette Rodriguez Cortes, because every week we have conversations such as this one. But for 2020, this is the last episode. Okay, we're gonna resume in the new year in January. So of course, just check out the page. If you haven't already, please like it, and we will be posting a lot of content for you to benefit from. So guys, thank you so much, David and Maria.
Thanks, David.
I was about to
Tinette.
say David and Goliath. David and Maria. Thank you so much, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now, guys. How do you say that? Buenas notte? Is that correct? Buona notte?
Buonanotte, buonasera.
Buonasera, buona notte. Okay. Good night, everyone. Bye for now.
Kisses from Italy.